Folks, I'm doing this video as a shout out to Roland Martin and News One Now. Now, Roland Martin can be an arrogant SOB sometimes, and specifically if you have a difference of opinion with him. Now, I'll tell you that when he had his, well, I guess if he still does, I haven't checked on it in a while, his 3-hour radio show, and I called in a couple of times, and one time I got into a big disagreement with him, and you know, I was a bit upset after I got off the phone, but yet and all, for the most part, Roland Martin tends to evoke emotions in people when he does his commentary, or you actually interact with him. But let me say this. You cannot grow a tree that bears fruit unless you turn over a little soil, unless you disrupt the ground in order to plant. And in my mind, Roland Martin's greatest quality is the fact that he does tend to want to disrupt. He does not sit there meekly going into the night. He does push back against white people, Hispanic people, black people, the LGBT community when they deserve it. Now, I was watching a show yesterday, as a matter of fact, when one of the, I guess, proponents of the LGBT community, Amber Phillips, got on there and wanted to make a statement that all men participate in rape culture. And Roland Martin immediately pushed back on her. And she was wrong. And in my opinion, he did the right thing. And Amber's got this deal that she doesn't know how to shut up and listen. Roland stated that he had never in his life been a party to the rape of a woman. So that when she said all men, with him being a man actually, he pushed back. Now, I said the same thing. I have never, ever been a party of forcing a woman to do something that she did not want to do. As a matter of fact, I'm on the other side of that. I'm the one that normally gets pushed. You know, just a little note about my own history. But that's just an example of him not letting something go. And he tends to catch his panelists when they make statements that are out of line. So it's not just that he's 100% pro anything a black person says is, you know, book. He checks everybody equally. So his show is scheduled for its last broadcast on Thursday, December the 21st, I believe. And it is going to be sorely, sorely missed. Now, I got a lot of questions that probably will go unanswered since he is going to maintain his relationship with TV One. I would love to know exactly why the show is being canceled. And I don't want to hear that general catch-all phrase about the budget issues. If his show basically generates income, i.e. advertising income, then it should not be touched. TV One can run 5 segments of comedies, Sanford and Son, etc., 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 back to back to back, and for some reason not have an issue with it. But this particular show, which is a boon to not only the black community, okay, but the community for peoples of color, because he does do segments on Asians and Hispanics periodically, but in particular for the white community, because basically mainstream media has a tilt, and obviously being white controlled, their tilt is going to be in favor of white points of view on all issues. Roland's show, on the other hand, gives you the point of view of black people on the issues. So just so that there is an even keel, a level playing field as far as information being disseminated to the country and possibly to the world, this show is absolutely needed. Now, in my opinion, Roland comes up with particular topics that you do not see on MSNBC or CNN. And if you do, they're normally after Roland brings the issues to the forefront and then they pick them up. You absolutely damn sure aren't going to see any of the topics that Roland covers on Fox News. Now, Roland has big issues with the guys at Fox, and he has challenged every last single one of them that he will either go on their show, have them come on his show, or go on a third-party neutral site to debate them over various issues, including Black Lives Matter, voting rights, etc. And not one single one of them has taken him up on his challenge. I remember when he challenged Bill O'Reilly to debate him over the issues and conditions in Chicago. That was 3 years ago. And Bill O'Reilly never, ever took him up on that challenge. It was always that the schedules wouldn't permit, etc., etc., etc. And Roland would tell him that he would be willing to take whatever time slot on O'Reilly's own show in order to debate him. But for some reason that never happened. I wonder why. Now again, this show is absolutely needed. And I do not understand why it is not getting more support. I will take my hat off to our Hispanic brothers and sisters out there. They have two major networks for the Hispanic population. And their various shows, Noticias and Telemundo, are highly watched, and advertisers flock to them. Why is it that we could not get the same thing, at least for this particular network and show? Now, I look at Oprah Winfrey, who is a sellout, and she recently prostituted her ass by selling out majority control and ownership of the OWN network. I believe now she's down to a 25% stake in the network. She, at a minimum, should have picked up and created a show like this. But Oprah Winfrey really isn't interested in the black community. Oprah Winfrey is interested in Oprah Winfrey and the money that she can generate. But she has no, I repeat, she has no affinity to the black community. I don't know when the next News One Now show is going to be created or arrive. Now, it's been indicated that TV One is looking at doing something in 2018 along these same lines, and I'm wondering what it would be. But this is one show that I'm going to miss. I taped this show. I use clips from this show. Even when I don't use clips from the show, quite a few of the ideas I get for videos come from this show. This is an informative show, and we as people of color needed to support the show. If this show is dying from lack of support, we need to at least let TV1 know our feelings as far as this show leaving the air. So again, shout out to Roland Martin, News One Now. You will be sorely missed.